Most founders waste thousands of dollars on building a product before validating their idea actually solves a real problem. But what if you could see the entire process from raw idea to fundable brand step by step? I'm Adrian, CEO of Klime Studio, and welcome to the first episode of From Idea to Brand, a series where we are building a complete startup from scratch. Thanks to AI, it's easier than ever to start a company and raise money. But you still need the right knowledge, the right tools, and the right framework. That's what this series is, your complete blueprint. We want to help you build the next $1 million brand. Over the next 8 episodes, you're going to watch us take a concept and transform it into a pitch-ready brand and product. We are talking idea validation and market research, complete brand strategy and identity, product design and MVP development, website and marketing materials, and investor pitch deck. Basically, everything a founder needs in order to raise money and launch their dream products. And don't worry if those words look too complex for you, we'll make sure to explain everything along the series. Every week, founders come to us with big ideas, and most make the same mistake. They want to build before they think. This series reveals how we actually build brands from scratch, the research, the strategy, the tools, and how we use AI to move faster. Episode 1 starts with the most important question: is there a real demand for your idea? Okay, so let me tell you about the concept we are validating today and why I connect personally with this idea. As someone who works online, I do travel a lot, like new countries, new cities, and to be completely honest, sometimes it can get lonely. And I think that the hardest part is not to find the right cafe, having Wi-Fi, or those type of things. It's mostly to find people who do the same thing as you, people who work online and travel at the same time. You can be surrounded by locals or tourists living their normal lives, but you're in this weird in-between space. You're not on vacation, but you're not settled down as well. And that isolation is a real problem. So the concept we are exploring today is a platform specifically for digital nomads. Think of it as an all-in-one solution that connects remote workers and freelancers with co-living spaces, community events, and way more. There are actually two problems which are solving. The first one is the isolation, and the second one is the logistics. On one hand, you have the loneliness, the problem to make meaningful connections when you're constantly on the move. And on the other hand, you have the practical challenges, basically finding all the accommodations while discovering where digital nomads hang around, what are the next events organized. Because right now, people are piecing this together with Airbnb, Facebook groups, but there is not like one platform specifically for digital nomads. Why is this concept interesting for our series? Two things. The first one, digital nomad trend is exploding right now, especially after the pandemic. People just want to travel. And the second thing is community, a real human need. And when you're traveling alone, this needs becomes way more urgent. But here's the thing, just because I experienced that in the past means that there is actually a real problem and that every digital nomads face this problem. That's why we need to validate the idea and support all of our statements with data. Before we design a logo, before we choose the colors, before we design a single screen, we need to validate the idea. Is there a real demand? Are people willing to pay for those type of products? Who are the competitors? What are all the gaps in the market? This is the step most founders miss. They fall in love with their idea and just assume everyone else will too. Then they spend months and thousands of dollars in building a brand that nobody wants. We don't do that at Klime Studio. So I'm going to hand over to Rishav, who is the CEO of Klime Studio. He's going to walk you through the exact validation process we use, the market research, the competitor analysis, the pain points discovery, everything we do before making a decision to move forward. Rishav, take it away.
Thanks, Adrian, for the intro. Hi, I'm Rishav, creative director of Klime. So the 4-step validation process is simple. So we talk about market research, which is size, trends, and opportunity. That is what we look in. And for competitor analysis, we look at who's doing this and what are the gaps. Third, target audience. We'll see who need this and what are the pain points. Demand signals. proof people want this. That's simple. So what are we looking for? Evidence that there is a real demand for the product or the idea we are looking, and the timeline is 48 to 72 hours, and this is like the foundation for our brand strategy.
So before Rishav dives into the research, I want to talk about why this step is so important. Most founders skip validation because it feels like it's slowing them down. They are excited about their idea and just want it to see come to life visually. But here's what we've learned after working with dozens of founders. Every hour spent in the validation phase and overall the research and strategy will save you weeks in the design phase. Because when you understand your market, your competitors, your audience deeply, every brand decision becomes obvious. So that's why we never start with design, we start with evidence. Now let me hand it over to Rishav to show you how we gather that evidence.
So to research about the market, we need to learn about three things: market size, market trend, and target audience. So how we do that is by answering three questions. What is the size of the digital nomad population, or you can say globally? And what is the growth rate each year? And what are the projection for next 5 years? So I'll be using few of the tools like Google Trends, Gemini. You can use any other tools too, and going through some reports. So let's start with Gemini. And I just wanted to know about year report and trends report, and where I can find about the global population. So it is 40 to 45 million, and it is projected to grow to 60 million. That's really great. Now we want to know about the graph. You can go to trends, and typically it's set to 12 months. You can change to 5 years. And let's search again for digital nomad. Okay, you can see the graph is great, but I don't see the number year over year. So I'll use again Gemini. What is the growth rate year over year of digital nomad? And there I find the peak was pandemic. After that, it synced down, and right now it's 3D at 4.7%. So now we have understanding of what are objectives we are looking for. Is the market big enough? So now we have answers to all of them. We will move to the next part. So now we want to learn about the market trend, because now we have understanding of market size. So we want to know about the policies around work visa, nomad life, and those things, and living space. Like if you are going to anywhere else in the country or abroad, you need to know about the living, because you need basic stuff like living and food. So we will talk about that, and yeah, let's use our robot trends for that. So my first question was like about the policies, and it gave me a comprehensive report on that. So I went through it and I took my notes. Then I just went and asked simply, like, can you make it easier for me to go through so I can present it on the video? So if you see now, I got a list of countries with minimum monthly income and a stay duration and a key requirement node. These are all fine, and they are categorized based on the ranking on Google Trends. And if you see, Iceland comes to 10th, but it is insane that they ask like 7,700 per month revenue, and they also don't have like even 1 year of visa. You get just 6 months of visa. So I feel like they're aiming to high earners, as Google says. So this is the finding here, and there's a lot more. And next thing, living. So when I was searching about just co-living spaces or living spaces, then I thought, okay, what are the investment? Because I have seen wherever people go a lot, there will be a lot of Airbnbs when you visit next time. So I thought maybe people will be investing there, and I kid you not. So I saw that when you go through the data, it says like estimated growth from 7.42 billion to 25.19 billion by 2033. It is a really big market shift. Like you are creating the increasing the market size, and then Asia Pacific leads because you have Europe there, you have Asia there. Like people like to visit Thailand, Vietnam, Bali, Indonesia, Dubai, all comes into Asia. That's why Asia is leading here. But there's a lot of places like London, New York, San Francisco, Singapore, Hong Kong. These are some of the global hubs where people are visiting. So now we have understanding about that. And I feel like this one thing which is more important is like understand the time analysis. Like, is this the right moment? If you want to understand that, what do? I basically ask if I have to do timing analysis to find out if now is the right moment, and like blah blah blah. You just write that and you will get the like a metric like this. And if you see, you will have better clarity on your idea, because you and I can definitely say, oh, this is not the best time, we can build later. But if you see the data, you will say something else. And I mean, market is exploring, there's like a lot of gaps like in between bigger players, you should definitely build it. So my answer is like, yes, go ahead, build it. Why now is the right time? So yeah, I missed to update here, but I'll do that. Next up is like target audience. So let's start with target audience. Know more about your target audience. You should have some specific questions, as I have. So I want to know about their demographics, like age, profession, income, physiographics, values, lifestyle, and pain points, and then the profiles. Like what are they? Like are they freelancer? Are they remote employees? Are they startup founders? And where they hang out online, like Facebook, let's say digital nomad, Reddit, nomad list community, or maybe Instagram. And what are they searching for? Like Google searches and Instagram searches. So those are some few things which I want to know. So for that, I'll use Gemini again and wrote the same thing. Like I want to understand my target audience. So it gave me a quite good chart which I'm going through, and I figured out that the age is like mostly millennials who have like 30 to 39 years, and Gen Zs are catching them up right now. Gender is like 50-50 male and 50% female, and US is leading with the country of origin, but mostly it's Western nation, and most of them have like a great education. 90% have more than higher education or bachelor degree. That is actually a good thing, because now you can create something complex also, and they will able to digest it and understand that part. And income level is also like good, like decent, like more than $50,000 plus at least, and mostly are from IT, marketing, consulting type kind of stuff. And employment type, if we split, either they are full-time remote work from one company, or they are freelancing or self-employed. So there's a lot of stuff which I went through, and this gave me like a clear understanding of what I just took notes from the data, like what I needed, and I got a really clear understanding of that.
So Rishabh just showed you the competitive landscape, and here's what's interesting to me as a strategist. When you see a market with established players, most founders get discouraged. They think it's already been done and that they cannot do better. But we see differently. Competitors validate that there is a real demand for the product. The question isn't, is anyone doing this? The question is anyone doing this correctly? And what Rishabh found is basically gold. He found a lot of pain points and gaps in the market that we need to use in order to have a very different product from the competition, which will stand out. Those pain points and gaps will shape our entire brand identity and positioning. This is why research isn't just about collecting data. It's about finding your angle, your positioning. But let's see what Rishabh finds about our target audience. And trust me, you'll be surprised.
So we already talked about target audience, so it doesn't make sense to do that. We will rather talk about their pain points, because that way we can serve them better. So for me, there's some questions which I have prepared, and same, use your Google friend or robot friends like ChatGPT, Gemini to come up with those questions. I basically asked Google to help me where I can find digital nomads online presence the most. I said social media, Facebook, Reddit. So I also went to Facebook, I also went to Reddit, but Reddit seems like much more like a newer generation. So because I just target one kind. So I will be going to Facebook also. I will be going to Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. So just find your people. But digital nomad Reddit community is a must. And I will start from there. And then I will go to Instagram and Twitter. And then I will analyze their post and what their hashtag use. And then I'll find some pain points from there. So I have this bucket where I have like all the links which I've said. So I started with digital nomad group. There's a lot of these groups and I need to just like log in, but I'll rather not. But if you see, these are created very recently, like in 2020, and you have 20k people just for Europe group. And there were like more groups like this, particularly centered to place, like let's say for just Dubai, just for US, just for that. But when I talk about Reddit, for the whole world, and when you see the post, like after 10 years of dreaming, we are finally living the digital nomad life. So with this post, they want to show the aspiration they had to live the freedom of life. Like, I quit my corporate job to go backpacking for a year. So this kind of post is like lifestyle post. Next up, we have, I became a nomad to escape the 9-5. Now I'm a manager and I'm terrified of recreating it for my team. Damn. So now we are understanding some kind of emotional thing which they are going through. Why am I meeting so many right-leaning people lately? Now they're talking about their politics, looking to collaborate on part-time freelance projects, UAE or remote. We are talking business. So when you like go ahead and understand whole point of the questions, you just need to spend some time. And why I say this is one of the oldest place digital nomad have, is like created in 2009. And I feel like that's like the oldest you can find, and it has 280k people. This is really helpful. So I reviewed this. I went to search on X, like what is digital nomad, and then I found about people like digital nomad visa is actually a thing in Malta. SIS1 visa, which means you can travel any part of the region, and they're talking about visa. I became a digital nomad in 2017, sold all my stuff, gave up my lease, spent 8 months, but the dream wasn't all crapped up. Here are 4 ugly truths. So someone is talking about the ugly truths. So these are the kind of posts. You don't need to like find like a lot of likes. You just need to find people who are, what are they saying? And then you have guys like Levels Law, like Peter Levels, if you know about them. This is a guy who created Nomad List. So if you know a creator, a founder who is in your competitor, and he have been doing stuff publicly, you can get to learn a lot about them and can do better. So I did that. This is the website on digital Nomad List website. Went through this and understood about that, and also went to the community section here. So when you click on join chat, you can literally talk to people who are living in Mexico, who are living in, let's say, United States, Serbia. So quite interesting. So I spent some time, and then I figured out this is not the exact thing. So I started with what is the missing market. So then I figured out what, I just gave the examples and of the names I said and some of the figures people were talking about. So I pulled up some of the Twitter links, I pulled up some of the Reddit links, and then I used AI to combine it and what is missing in the market. I understood about that, and then I created my pain point, 5 pain points. And I also search hashtag, if you see. So this on this website, if you go to besthashtags.com, you'll be able to find hashtags and the volume of them. So Travelgram is a lot. Let's go with something simple like digital nomads. This is very simple to use and people might use it. So the volume is 7,52,000. So 700k volume for Instagram post is quite fine. But if you go to this kind of post, Travelgram, so let's come back to the pain point. So which I found is first, isolation or loneliness. Either they are not finding someone or either they are feeling lonely. Second, relatable and vetted house. They are not finding a great place to live. Missing local events and meetups. So they are not finding local people from their country. So and also they are not finding any meetups happening. Waiting the quality of co-living spaces. So there's a lot of co-living spaces, but all of them cannot be maintained. Of course, there's logistic comes into play and lots of reasons around that. But let's be honest, we are just building for our people who are digital nomads. So I need to think about them first. And difficulty building meaningful connection. You are at a new place. You want to meet new people. You want to build connections, but it is not that easy. There's 5 pain points, and which I want to solve is isolation. So via community events and logistic via weighted housing and event discovery. And I feel what will be the must be feature in my MVP is isolation is the most urgent thing which I need to have. So I'll try to add that, and support of vetted places to go and have live around. Yeah, so that will be my MVP thing.
You just heard Rishabh walk through the pain points he found, and I want you to notice something. These are not just data points. These are real people expressing their frustration, loneliness, uncertainty, the anxiety of not knowing if a place will be good to live or not, and if they will find their community, if they will feel good, basically. This is where brand building becomes so powerful, because when you understand what keeps your target audience up at night in their own words, you can basically create a brand that speaks directly to them. Every color choice, every word in your messaging, every design decisions we make from here forward will trace back to these insights. This is the foundation. Now let's take a look at whether there's actually demand we can measure.
Now we'll start to find demand signals, because now we have clarity on all things. We just need to figure out, are people really interested in this? So first thing, I'll search the search volume data. So remember Google Trends, we saw the trend of how much search people are making. So we'll see that. We'll see the community sizes and engagement. We saw Reddit, Facebook posts and all that. And we want to see the most important part. Do people actually want to pay? Is there evidence of they paying anything around around like earlier. And what is the market validation signals, like any VC investment or exits or acquisitions? So those are the things which we will look at too. So let's start. So I actually went to Digital Nomad like this here, and I tried to find evidence, and there is evidence definitely, but I just needed some words. So how you can find out is like when you go down and you see breakout written over here, this means this term is like searched around more than 5,000 plus. And how you check that? If you go more like around 21, you see there's like 4,600. So whatever which crosses like a number like 5,000 plus, it comes to like it says breakout. So that way you can understand, okay, people are searching this too much. So the number one is at UAE, second is Spain, third is Italian, fourth is Canada. So people are searching about that. So I just needed some data in terms of like volume data, so I can learn about it and I can add it to my research. So I spent some time getting the keywords for digital nomads. That way we can search it on Reddit platforms and SEO search for those kind of stuff, so we can understand where we can find more of the content around digital nomads. Then I went to like the Go Nomad platform and searched and saw that how much people are there and what they are paying for. So there's like thing called join, and when you click, there's like 38,000 members plus 283 people joined this month. And if I, let's say abc@gmail.com, how much does this cost? Let's see. This cost me $99, and people are actually paying it, because as much as I remember, if I search, let's search how much is digital. These are making around $35,000 to $60,000 with that list. So that's like really strong indicator that people are actually paying. And if we talk about the size of the communities, they are like quite big, and some of them are like too old, they exist from a lot earlier than we thought about digital nomad. I don't know who thought about digital nomad in 2009, but yeah, people were ahead of their time. And if we talk about market validation, like are there any validation of VC investment in space, successful exits or like acquisitions and those kind of stuff, if you see, then I got some signals here too, and then I collected all of them and I made my key findings after taking all the data from like GPT and Gemini and all the platforms. I combined and learned about that people are willing to pay. And some of the benchmarks are like monthly cost of living, then co-working passes and community membership. Like let's say, for example, Nomad List. So you pay $100 for lifetime. So it's a different case, but you have a lot of community membership. And people are paying for the premium features, and subscription model is viable. By that I mean you can create something like, let's say, $10 per month subscription, and people will be like happy to buy it. And if we talk about the market validation in terms of VC funding, it is high. We saw a lot of successful exits and acquisitions, and some of the names I found on Gemini and like I found them legit is like Heybyte, Colonies are acquiring small players to scale, proving viability. And there's growing number of competitors. There are government programs like digital nomad visas are improving and increasing. And we have corporate remote work policies. Like remote work is the new norm right now. People like go 3 or 2 times in a week in office, and then there's remote. So remote is going to become like much more bigger. So this is like a great sign and evidence that we will have for the industry.
Alright, the research is done. We have the data. Now comes the moment of truth. This is where most founders struggle, because validation isn't always black and white. You're looking for signals, not guarantees. You're making a bet based on evidence. At Klime Studio, we use a simple framework. Are there enough green lights in order to move forward? And are the red flags manageable or deal breakers? Let's see how we make this decision.
So after reviewing all the data, now it's time to finally talk about the final decision. So let's start. I went through like markets research and I have some ideas on the market size and growth trend. I worked on the competitor side, understood like existing solution and where is the gap, and gap was there, and that's what we are going to build. Is like an all-in-one platform where you can find verified quality housing and then community features and then like event discovery. Though that is the place where we want to build. And there's a lot of audience pain points around feeling isolated, lonely, difficult finding reliable housing and missing local events, and that's why we want to build that. And there's like demand, and we use a framework called go or no go, and by that I was able to like just figure out, okay, this is how it's works. So large growing market, clear pain points, existing willingness to pay, fragmented solution, and strong community engagement. But possible challenges are like established competitors, two-sided marketplace complexity, because you are trying to favor the nomads too and trying to favor the host of, like, let's say for events, for places they will be living. It can be an Airbnb, so you need to figure out that too. And trust and verification needed for every side. We need to have trust for buyer side also, and also the people who will be living there. I feel like if I talk about why, like, is it worth building? Yes, definitely. As the market is large and growing, clear pain points are validated, and differentiators are like focusing on providing verified quality experience and built-in community event discovery. So we learned a lot about the customer pain points around like solving loneliness and logistic by audience connection. And if you think about this, what we have collected for brand strategy, now we have collected target audience profile, top pain points, competitive positioning, value proposition, and keywords from the Instagrams, and market opportunity validated, and pricing expectations. Now we have everything to create a work ahead on brand strategy.
So that's how we validate a startup ID before building anything. And here's the key takeaway: always validate your ID before you build. I know it's tempting to jump straight into design. Trust me, we are designers, we know this feeling. But this research process, it saves you time, money, and a lot of heartache down the road. Now, if you have an idea and you want to validate it, I've put together a document with all the resources and templates we used in this video. Just grab it by clicking the first link in the video description. And look, if you want help not only to validate your idea, but to build a complete brand right now, from strategy to design to launch, just book a call by clicking the second link in the video description. We'd love to work with you. Alright, next week is where things get really interesting. We are basically taking this validated idea and turning it into a complete brand strategy. And you'll see exactly how all the insights we gathered today directly shape every brand decisions we make. It all connects. Oh, and one more thing, if you're a digital nomad or you've ever worked and traveled at the same time, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and tell me what's your biggest frustration when finding a community and a housing when traveling and working at the same time. I'm genuinely curious, and also your answers might influence how we build this brand. Alright, I'll see you next week. Let's build something great.